Are alcohol markers worth the investment? I have never bought them because, truthfully, they were just too expensive for the amount of use I would get out of them. But when I discovered Ohuhu, which are super affordable, and they offered to send me 2 of their alcohol marker sets, I couldn't refuse trying them. But my main concern was that drawing and coloring is not usually what I do. So I had to figure out if there's anything else that I could do with them to fit my style. But before I got that far, when I took out the first set out of the bag, I had to swatch each color because honestly, the colors on the lids of any marker in the world never matches the actual marker color. So having them swatched really helps. And I barely swatch anything in my studio, so this was kind of like a first for me. But I think it was actually worth it. And now I was ready to have some fun. First, I just want to try them. I simply draw on the Ohuhu mixed media journal they sent me. And my first impression is that I did not know how smooth alcohol markers can be. I mean, nobody even told me, ever. The markers are double-sided with 1 brush and 1 chisel tip. They feel way different than water-based markers, like you don't have to make such an effort when you're drawing, which makes me understand why illustrators and so many card makers love using alcohol markers for coloring in their images. Because of that reason, I must try them with a stamp. But stay tuned, my beautiful creative friends, because my last idea is mind-blowing, and I couldn't believe how it turned out. Now let's get back to the stamping. I stamped a flower image onto cardstock using black archival ink. I only stamped it once, which is a first for me as well, as I'm a terrible stamper. And that alone made me super happy. Then I start coloring the flower inside, and I'm honestly impressed. The beauty of alcohol marker is they dry fast and permanent, and the colors are so beautiful and vibrant. But although these markers are super affordable, it's important for me to make sure that if I'm suggesting them to you, that I show you as many ways as I can on how to use them, so you get your money's worth. Like for example, testing them on Yupo paper to see how will they react. But what if I sprinkle some drops of isopropyl alcohol? Will they act similarly to alcohol inks? I had to try. And I even use my blowy tool to move the pigment around. But wait, if they work similarly to alcohol inks, and alcohol inks work on a gel plate, then will the markers work on my gel plate as well? My worry is that when I draw on the gel plate, the pigment might resist the gel plate and separate the way water-based markers do. But I have to try. So I start by drawing whimsical looking flowers using different colors. And I'm pleasantly surprised. There's no resisting reaction from the gel plate. They feel so smooth as well, even better than the acrylic markers I tested before, which I will link that video at the end because the results with them were phenomenal as well. And that's what led me to try the next technique, which I will show you soon as it was my favorite. Things are going smoothly, so I need to apply acrylic paint so I can pull the print. I apply white acrylic paint with my brayer, but of course, the pink color was not fully dry and I can see it bleeding into my white paint. And I start panicking because I think I ruined it, but I still place my white paper over the paint just in case it works. I turn the gel plate face up so I can see the print, and after letting it dry for a couple minutes, I pull the print. The pink did bleed into the white, but you can still see the drawing and it looks amazing, even if it's pink. So I consider this a win. Next, I take the markers again and I simply draw lines along my gel plate. I want to test the markers on the gel plate, but with isopropyl alcohol, because I don't know how the markers will react. as alcohol can move the pigment when applied on a smooth surface like a gel plate. But I have to try. So I start applying some alcohol drops on the lines, and thankfully it reacts like I expected and creates those really cool splatter looking marks on my background. The markers are easier to control than alcohol inks because you can draw any pattern you want, as opposed to just getting the drips from the alcohol inks. And since the alcohol removes the pigment from the middle of those splatters, I use a green marker and draw some circles inside of them. But now it's the moment of truth. I brayer the white acrylic paint over the background, and the pink slightly mixes with the white again, but not as badly as I let it dry even longer. And after I place my paper, I let it dry facing up for a few minutes and pull the print. And this background is by far my favorite. I can't believe how well these markers worked on a gel plate. I wasn't expecting that. Just like I wasn't expecting the amazing results I got when I used acrylic markers on my gel plate in this video right here.